Right now, as you watch this video, there's a gap in the most sophisticated military command system ever built. A window, 6 minutes long. And right now, American carrier strike groups are sailing through the Persian Gulf with that window wide open. There's a system called Avtobaza, and it's positioned to exploit it. This isn't speculation. It's the documented record of 2 operations, 8 years apart. That'll change how you understand what it means to have the world's most powerful military. December 2011. An American stealth reconnaissance drone took off from a classified base, crossed Afghan airspace, penetrated deep into Iranian territory, and vanished. No explosion, no crash. It just disappeared from American radars. 6 minutes of total silence. When it reappeared, it wasn't under US control anymore. It had landed, completely intact, in Iran. Here's what'll change how you understand American military power. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't luck. It was the execution of a plan built with Russian technology, tested meticulously, refined over years, until in 2026 it stopped being theoretical and became active doctrine. By the end of this video, you will understand why the most expensive military in history relies on a 6-minute window it cannot close, and what that means for every conflict to come. Before talking about what happened during those 6 minutes, you need to understand what exactly was attacked. Command and Control C2 isn't just radio or satellite communication. It's the central nervous system of every American military operation. Every finger moves because the brain sends a signal. Cut the signal, and the finger stops. Doesn't matter how strong the muscle is. The American C2 system has 4 layers. First, the GPS signal, the pulse telling every platform where it is, where the enemy is, where allies are. Second, the encrypted uplink how commanders send orders and get real-time reports. Third, the satellite relay, the space-based middleman that keeps signals going, even thousands of miles away. And fourth, the authentication handshake, the digital confirmation that the order is real and the receiver is who they claim to be. These 4 layers work in milliseconds, constantly. Disrupt one for long enough, and the platform drone, fighter jet, destroyer goes blind. No context, no orders, can't receive emergency commands. This is what was at stake in December 2011. Now think about the biggest mobile C2 system America's ever built, a carrier strike group, $13 billion, a floating city that launches airstrikes hundreds of miles away, coordinates dozens of aircraft, projects power anywhere. What makes it all work? That same C2 system GPS, encrypted uplink, satellite relay, authentication, the exact same architecture that keeps a $6 million drone in the air. And the cost to disrupt it? That's the question that'll stick with you. December 4th, 2011. Afternoon. And that question was about to get expensive for America, $6 million to be exact. For Iran, 0. An RQ-170 Sentinel took off on a reconnaissance mission over Iran. This wasn't just any drone. It was one of America's most sensitive assets, flying wing design to cut radar signature, advanced intelligence sensors, operated from classified bases. The kind of platform the US takes years to even admit exists. Mission: gather intelligence on Iran's nuclear program. The drone crossed Afghan airspace, pushed deep into Iranian territory, was transmitting data to operators thousands of miles away. Then the link cut. 6 minutes. Nothing. From the American operator's perspective, the drone just vanished. No telemetry, no video, no position. Just a digital void where a $6 million platform had been flying over some of the most hostile airspace on the planet. Link loss protocol is clear: self-destruct or return to the last known point. Neither happened. 2 days later, Iranian state TV broadcast footage that left the Pentagon speechless. There's the RQ-170 in a hangar, intact, surrounded by Revolutionary Guard officers with the cold look of people who've just made their point. Clean fuselage, No scratches, no explosion fragments, no violent impact. The drone landed, surgically precise, no longer American. Here's the crucial detail. The self-destruct never activated. The destruction command sent by operators the moment the link dropped never arrived. Protocol existed. Signal was sent, but the communication channel was blocked. For a drone to land intact in enemy territory, 3 things must happen at once. The GPS signal gets compromised, not jammed, but spoofed. Redirected so the drone thinks it's flying over a safe location. The uplink gets cut surgically so it can't receive destruct orders. And the autopilot override gets neutralized, only possible if the fake GPS is convincing enough to make the autopilot think it's landing at home. Iran pulled off all 3, with a system that wasn't even theirs. What this system is and what it cost will change how you think about the next great power war. Weeks before the RQ-170 incident, American intelligence spotted something being delivered to Iran. A system called the 1L222 Avtobaza, Russian-made. Understanding how this thing works explains everything about those 6 minutes. The Avtobaza isn't a conventional jammer. It doesn't broadcast interference pulses you can detect and track. It's a passive system intercepts radio frequency signals without emitting anything. Just listens. And while it's listening, it learns the specific frequencies American platforms use for comms and GPS. Once the Avtobaza maps the drone's frequencies, it executes GPS spoofing. Instead of blocking the signal, it replaces it with a fake one. The drone keeps getting coordinates, except they're fabricated. From the RQ-170's autopilot perspective, it's flying over safe, familiar coordinates. Reality: it's being guided straight into Iranian territory. The Avtobaza costs a fraction of that $6 million drone. No missiles, no soldiers exposed, no emission signature that could be traced back to the operator in time. That's the asymmetry that'll define the next generation of warfare. The Avtobaza transfer to Iran wasn't a commercial deal. It was a strategic decision. Russia had decades of signals intelligence on American C2. They knew the frequencies. They knew the protocol vulnerabilities. They knew exactly how long the window needed to be. Giving Iran the Avtobaza meant transferring hardware plus operational know-how, the ability to exploit a specific flaw in the American command system. American intelligence confirmed the collaboration. The RQ-170 capture was proof of concept. And Russia knew Iran would do it before they handed over the system. Russia knew Iran would use the Avtobaza exactly how it did. But why'd Russia do this? You need history. Russia didn't invent arming proxies with asymmetrical weapons. America did. 1986, the US. Gives Stinger missiles to Afghan Mujahideen to shoot down Soviet helicopters. Cheap, portable, neutralizes expensive assets, creates an imbalance the Soviets can't reverse in the field. What Russia's doing with Iran is structurally identical, except for one thing. Stingers had kinetic effects. The Avtobaza has a cognitive effect. It doesn't destroy the platform. It destroys the trust the C2 system has in its own data. That's exponentially harder to defend against. The Iran-Russia collaboration isn't a one-off deal. It's sustained advisors, training, the whole structure. Russian officers were there during Iran's electronic warfare development. Knowledge about American C2 frequencies, protocols, weak points got transferred systematically over years. Russia's incentive is simple: proxy capability without fingerprints. When Iran captures or destroys an American asset using Russian tech, Russia isn't technically at war. It can deny involvement, even if the electronic evidence says otherwise. Plausible deniability applied to modern warfare. Iran's incentive is equally clear: asymmetrical reach against American assets without kinetic escalation. Iran can't win a war of attrition. but it can show repeatedly that American assets are vulnerable at a cost Iran can afford and the US can't ignore. All of this is calculated architecture. Here's the question from the beginning. If it works on a drone, why stop at a drone? The C2 architecture keeping an RQ-170 airborne is the same architecture coordinating a carrier strike group. GPS, encrypted uplink, satellite relay, authentication. Different platforms. Same fundamental dependence on C2. A carrier strike group operates like a living organism. Carrier at the center surrounded by destroyers, cruisers, submarines, aircraft on constant patrol. Every element depends on real-time comms to function together. In combat, coordination happens in seconds. Lose C2 for 6 minutes, and you've got isolated platforms with no shared context. A layered attack makes this exploitable. Not one attack vector multiple. Simultaneous GPS spoofing on multiple platforms via Avtabaza and derivative systems, jamming the primary uplink, and cyber attacks on backup authentication. The Avtabaza is the blueprint. Iranian systems since 2011 scaled it for area coverage. Every C2 defense layer America built can be attacked at once. That's the 6-minute window, the gap between C2 collapse and the first missile impact. 6 minutes. A carrier strike group flying blind, no centralized coordination. Aircraft disconnected from the carrier, destroyers without enemy position confirmation. The commander can't send orders. In those 6 minutes, a hypersonic missile covers hundreds of kilometers. Saturation attack completes from standoff distance. The question isn't whether the strike group survives impact, it's that it can't respond to what it can't see. Nobody asked in 2011, was this method designed to stop at a drone? This 6-minute window isn't an engineering flaw, it's something more fundamental. It's the same principle that's taken down every great power that thought it had absolute information superiority. The OODA loop. Colonel John Boyd, 1960s, observe, orient, decide, act, 4 steps that make every combat response. Whoever completes it faster wins. Normal C2 conditions, American strike groups are incredibly efficient. Distributed sensors observe. Data fusion orients commanders with a shared picture. Decisions based on that picture. Actions executed with precision. Sever C2, and the loop stops at step 1. Observe. No GPS. Platforms lose position confirmation. No uplink. The shared picture vanishes. No authentication. Commanders can't verify if orders are real or fake. Orientation collapses. No shared data. Decision fails. No decision. No action. Americans immediately compensate. Change frequencies. Reroute signals through backups. Activate emergency protocols. Every action takes time. Recovery steps add minutes to the cycle. They don't subtract. Picture a chess player with a towel over the board. Pieces are there. Rules are there. Can't see it. Clock's ticking. Opponents moving. 6 minutes is exactly enough for someone who already knows where you are to launch and finish before you can respond. That's military calculus. Wargame assessments from American military analysis confirm it. 6 minutes is the minimum interval to operationally exploit C2 rupture. Also, the maximum interval needed to execute saturation attack from standoff. The 6-minute window isn't metaphor. It's a technical specification. What happened 8 years later proves Iran understood these parameters and decided to escalate. 2011. Iran captured an American drone without firing a shot. 8 years later, the doctrine evolved. June 20th, 2019. Strait of Hormuz, American RQ-4A, global Hawk bigger, more expensive, vastly more surveillance capability than the RQ-170 shot down by an Iranian missile. The difference between 2011 and 2019 isn't just size, it's intent. 2011, demonstrate capability, we captured it intact. 2019, demonstrate lethality, we destroyed it, and the US had no window to respond. The events confirm the evolution. Global Hawk, operating in international airspace over the Strait, one of the most strategic waterways on the planet, where the US maintains constant naval presence for oil flow. Drone shot down following a communications breakdown before the Iranian missile launch. The pattern repeats. Disrupted C2, 6-minute window, this time a missile instead of spoofing. American response was limited. Trump approved retaliatory strikes, then called them off 16 minutes before citing disproportional Iranian casualties for destroying an unmanned drone. Iran faced no military consequences. Strategic data point for Tehran and Moscow. The progression is clear. 2011 was proof of concept. 2019 was operational use. The question from earlier, was this designed to stop at a drone? It gets answered after 2019. 7 years from proof of concept to operational use. 2026. The gap between operational use and active conflict is zero. March 2026. US and Iran in active conflict. What changed went beyond scale. It changed Russian-Iranian collaboration itself. 2011. Russia provided hardware and know-how. 2019. Capability was operationalized. 2026. Russia is delivering something much more valuable: real-time intelligence. American intelligence confirmed Russia is transferring real-time location data of American forces to Iran. Not historical data or analysis, live coordinates of American assets as operations unfold. Think about what that means operationally. To execute the 6-minute window strike, Iran needs to know where the strike group is before disrupting C2. GPS spoofing works within tens of kilometers. Jamming has limited reach. For surgical precision, the operator needs the target's position with minimal margin for error. Russia provides exactly that. They've got surveillance systems, orbital reconnaissance satellites like the Condor FKA, Tu-214R signals intelligence aircraft, SIGINT networks in theater capable of tracking American strike groups in real time. Coordinates transmit to Iran through direct military links established during Syria cooperation. Transmitting coordinates doesn't need new tech. Infrastructure already exists. What changed in 2026 was the political will to use it against American assets. The result is a strike doctrine American analysts call the most sophisticated threat the US Navy's ever faced in active conflict. Pre-positioned location intelligence, C2 disruption via Avtobaza, and derivative systems. A 6-minute window. Saturation strike with standoff munitions. Each element's been tested individually. In 2026, they're executed together. The scenario American commanders face today in the Persian Gulf has surpassed the hypothetical threat phase from war games. It's now an active operation, refined over 15 years, with every piece exactly in place. Now, the strategic implications. Not for a drone, not one incident, but the entire structure of American military power. An American carrier strike group is $13 billion just for the carrier. With destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and carrier aircraft, a full strike group is over $20 billion of concentrated military power in one location. The Avtobaza costs tens of millions less than 0.5% of the strike group's value, and it can incapacitate it. This ratio collapses the logic sustaining American naval power. Decades and trillions building the world's most advanced naval supremacy. Projection of that supremacy depends on C2. The adversary found it. Strike exactly where supremacy depends most, for minimal cost. American military doctrine assumes one thing: information superiority. America knows more, sees faster, decides quicker than any adversary. C2 makes that assumption real. But when the adversary hijacks or disrupts C2 long enough to launch an attack, the fundamental assumption collapses. And with it, American naval deterrence. This conclusion spread beyond American defense circles. China, North Korea, other actors are studying the Iranian operations. Iran's the laboratory. The lessons are exportable. China specifically hasn't missed a detail. Its electronic warfare systems Beidou as a GPS alternative, broadband jamming from the Academy of Military Sciences reflect a doctrine taking shape when Aftabaza arrived in Iran. But China doesn't need proxies. It's developing the capability to strike American C-2 directly in the Pacific, where a strike group losing 6 minutes of coordination sits within ballistic missile range of multiple launch sites. Iran demonstrated this regionally. China is architecting it on an oceanic scale. The 6-minute gap, which looked like an isolated drone security issue in 2011, is now the conceptual blueprint redefining how the next great power neutralizes American naval dominance without building an equivalent navy. The 6-minute window isn't Iranian-American anymore. It's proof. The Achilles heel of history's greatest military has been identified, mapped, and is being exploited actively. Building this capability is affordable. Defending against it, still unsolved. The 6-minute gap isn't a simple glitch. It's the logical consequence of a system built for a different threat. American C-2 was designed for adversaries that jam communications, and it's been hardened against brute force jamming. Alternative frequencies, backup systems, rerouting. What it wasn't designed for is exactly what Aftabaza does. Not jam, but mimic. Not cut off, redirect. Not attack the signal, replace it. America's responding. Programs underway for GPS, spoofing-resistant navigation, communication systems with robust authentication, reduced reliance on single C-2 points of failure. But these programs take years and billions to mature, and the adversary's capability isn't waiting. What's different from past vulnerabilities is the progression. 2011 to 2019 to 2026, every step deliberate. Proof of concept to operational use to real-time intelligence. Each iteration more sophisticated. Every gap identified got exploited before it could close. And C-2 supremacy was America's greatest force multiplier. Turned units into networks, networks into organisms, organisms into decision machines operating at data speed. The adversary didn't build an identical machine. It found where the machine needs 6 minutes to breathe. Share this with someone who needs to know, because the 6-minute gap isn't the end, it's the beginning. Next analysis dives into the systems America's developing to respond and why they're arriving late. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the time.